All right, hello everybody. Today, I'm just a little bit early, as usual, so I'm going to wait just a couple minutes. I've got the little banner showing people that I'm starting in a few minutes, so I will be. But while I'm waiting for that to start, I'm also going to take a second to paste out there to the world at large that I am live. So give me 1 second to do that as well. Let me see. Yes, so if you're joining, just give me a second or two here to post out. I'm in the frickety frackety. Oh. All right, I'm just going to hit up a few of these guys. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Hope everybody's day is going well. Give us a second to get started. And get a second for people to join. And I'm always just a couple minutes early. So. And I'm just giving it a minute or two more for people to join, but you should be able to hear me. And we've hit the time. So, all right. Alrighty. And we are at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and hide my starting screen. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, I just noticed I think I need to fix my chat overlay. Give me a second to fix that. Computer, don't blow up on me. So I'm just trying to take a second here to actually add. I like to add the chat on the actual live stream so people can see there as well. They don't have to keep the chat open itself if they don't want to chat but want to see what's going on. So, but I have to make sure I update this to the latest version. There it goes. All right, cool. So, all right. So today, I did one thing kind of offline because if you probably were watching the video stream before, you have noticed that I had a right here. There was a missing capacitor. It's kind of potentially hard to see at this angle, but it was between these two big ones. I'd taken it out temporarily because I was trying to check and find if I could find one that was supposed to be the exact value of 330. I didn't. I only have a 300, but 300 330 is not a massive difference. If for some reason I don't like the space that treble pot sounds, I can buy a 330 and replace it. But I also did do something else though. I bought myself some replacement capacitors. When we turn this amp around and start working on this side of the board up here, I'm going to be replacing. I pulled one of them because it went in here, but the other one's still in. I need to pull it as well because I got myself some actual correct to style caps that are, let's pull that down where you can see that are ceramic. I also am going to be using a 0.01 ceramic on the, I think it was bright switch. I don't remember. We'll see. But I'm clipping a bit, but no hum. Okay, cool. I just asked my wife to kind of check in for a minute and see how it sounded, so I just need to try and turn down a teeny bit. So sorry, I'm going to spin the camera away for a second and adjust my audio level. You guys are going to be able to stare at the wood for a minute here. All right, so yeah, I can see it clipping a little bit. Let me turn this down a little bit more. All right, that seems like I'm not clipping now. Is that a little bit better, I hope? Please tell me it sounds a little bit better. All right, so hopefully audio was not clipping as much now, and it's clear. I did realize, if you notice in my last couple of videos, I had some kind of weird hum. I wasn't thinking, but I'd used the output of my I have a little Tascam like audio device for taking the input of my boom mic, and it was in the low impedance output, but I realized for the camera it needed to be high impedance, so I swapped to high, and it sounded way better, and it lost all that really crummy kind of noise. So we should be better there. All right, so what I'm going to resume with today is, let me pull this over. Actually, let me make the, where is it? So this guy here, I'm going to make this full screen for just a minute. Okay, there's some kind of interference. All right, I'm not sure what that might be. Sorry. Is it like a hum or a buzz or what? All right, so today I'm going to be trying to finish up the relays and finish up all of this stuff up here. Once we finish with that up, if we have time, we will also then come down and start working on finishing this up. And what I was mentioning, just pointing that you couldn't see, is these two 270 picofarad caps that go from the anode to the cathode are, I had the wrong type and had the wrong value. So I now have some 270 picofarad ceramic capacitors I'll be able to put in there if we get to that point as well. So this is where I will bring it back to, and then I'm going to resize this back down to the corner so we can still see what I'm working on there, but also be able to see what's going on as well. All right. Okie dokie. Oakley dokley, neighbor. Let me see. It sounds almost metallic. I don't know what that would be. So not sure. When I was listening actually on the Sony itself through the headset, it sounded nice and clean to me, but I don't know, that's weird. Okay. So that could be some of the compression algorithm for the live streaming, I guess. That's possible, but I'm not sure. I might have to test that offline a little later. All right, so next up is, let's see, I want to connect that treble. I did get, what I did when we were offline is I just quickly soldered this guy in and soldered the wire for it, but I wanted to actually do the actual soldering of this for you guys live, starting to get the actual work done. So this is my volume, this is my treble. This one goes into that line off of the 330, goes up and over to the input of the treble, which will be this leftmost one right there. So it needs to come about there. I'm going to go ahead and turn my fan on. I apologize ahead of time. It will be a little annoying, but I have to have my lungs, so that's just the way it is. And hopefully the directionality of the mic will make it not too bad. But all right, so all right. First order of business is going to be to cut it to length. Which is going to be right about here. Alright, got my physical connection there. Pinch it down. Now we will solder that guy. Alright. Then So this is where things start getting a bit tricky, because in the Dumble layout, right next to the treble, you had your switches. I don't have them right next to it. I have them over here a little bit. So I have to connect a center. I think the center of the treble goes over to the input of the volume. And then the input of the volume also shares a link over to the bright cap, which is here. And then that goes out to the center and then off to, some of the other switches. So I have to be running a decent amount of leads in through between these areas here, back and forth, that are a little bit long. One of the things I have to be careful of is I've got a 270K resistors from the bright switch to the deep switch, which is from here to here. Or sorry, this one. All the way over here. And I have a 2 meg resistor that goes from the treble pot, which is here, over to the rock jazz switch here. So I will have to be kind of careful with those, but we're going to go ahead and get that going. So the first thing I'm going to do is run just the jumper between treble and the volume. And I'll just use purple wire, I guess, for that. Doesn't matter a whole lot which color wire I use. But I should try and kind of alternate a little bit. That's why I did with the treble there. So it's easier to trace the colors, but oh well. Alright, so this is just going to go from treble to volume, so it's a fairly short distance, so I can cut a fairly short lead. Let's strip this in. And I need to look at that. Goes to the top of that. The middle, is that what it is? The middle? Yes, the middle. I'm losing the battle. Let's get a little bit more light into that area. Alrighty. So the treble does have a 100K that also comes out of that and connects to the rock switch. I do believe I have a 100K around here somewhere. I think it's this one. I always have my multimeter laying around. Let's put that at an angle where you're not getting the glare. And I double checked, but this is my 100K. I don't remember if this is it or not. We'll double check. Yep, 99K. Okay, so that's 100K. So what I'm going to do with this guy is set it. It needs to go in the same hole as that one. But then it jumps over to... It's going to have to jump all the way over to one of these switches. So I will, for now, just connect in fairly well like this. And then I'm going to connect a wire and shrink wrap up to the lead and then kind of carry it over this way. So... For now, I'm going to quickly it shouldn't be the word I use because I never can be able to do this stuff quickly. I'm going to get this in place and pinch down tight so I can solder it in. And then I will, from there, connect a lead to it. Alright. Looks good. Okay, so while that's cooling, I'm going to come back and snip the lead that I soldered. No, I can't because it's right underneath that one. We'll clean that up in a minute. So what I'm going to need to do is wrap a piece of the lead across the sky, solder it, and then drop some shrink rack over it so that I don't accidentally allow this to touch other things it shouldn't touch. I think we've got things cooled off enough that I can snip some excess leads. Alrighty. Clean that up a bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is get a small leaf of that guy. And I need it to come... How far does it go? Treble, 100K, goes to the top of the rock switch. Which I think we were going to call this furthest one over. So let's see if this is long enough. It is. Alright. So let's back a little here. And then what I find works usually the best for me in these is to kind of get the leads together, pinch them, and then wind them around a few times like that, tightly. So that we get a good physical connection. And then also once I solder, I have a good, like the solder acts more like a glue than a electrical connection, but does also supplement the electrical connection. There we go. And then I just need to get a small amount of shrink wrap. Where's my shrink wrap? There it is. A shrink tube, sorry. Is this the right size? I think it is. I'll just use clear so that it will appear like there's nothing there, but there really is. And today, oh, I do need to clip off the excess lead here first. So now I'm going to remember, this guy is what burnt me last time. I'm going to remember that it stays on for a minute, so I'm going to shrink the tube down. But after I'm done shrinking the tube down, I'm going to set it aside and not talk while pointing it at my hand. Luckily, the elevator helped that one out. It didn't end up too bad. But, you know, torch skin is always fun. Alright, so then, now I can kind of cautiously... I think I might bring this down under. And so part of what I need to think through here is this, it goes to the side closest to the volume pot. So that would be, and I'm trying to remember, I want it to be the one that's closer to the, away, so it's going to be this guy, the top of this one. So this won't be easy for you guys to see what I'm doing now, because I've got to try and get in here at an angle enough to grab that lead. I cannot see at all what I'm doing. I'm going to blind you guys for a second. Of course it came back out. I need to be able to see what I'm doing here. So when you have big hands like mine, this kind of work is what makes me want to start, drinking alcohol at 10 in the morning. I probably had too much coffee. Actually, maybe my little tweezers might make this a little easier. My little tweezers. Can't find them. They were here just a minute ago. Oh, I was covering them with the pliers I just set down. So the profanities are about to begin, so enjoy. There we go, you son of a big leak. Well, I can see it now, but I can't clip it with those tweezers. Alright, there we go. Got a solid physical connection. One of the things that is going to be nightmarishly hard is this other connection also goes to the bottom of that one. And and this one to solder are going to be possibly almost impossible to connect because of the angulation down here. Sorry if you're getting blinded by that heavy light, but oh my lord. Alright, I'm going to worry about soldering those later when I can turn them around the other direction and face them towards my face from this side, because I cannot get in there from this angle. So I apologize that you will not be able to see me soldering that switch, but I just can't get to it right now. The problem is that this face on this side is angled away from me already, as you can probably see. So I'm digging it at a steep angle and then having to come down at a flatter angle, and so it's just not going to happen. So what I will do is I'm going to have to worry about wiring that up kind of offline away from you guys. We'll get to that in a bit. Because I'm sure, even though I just wired that, me moving wires, it's going to pop right out, which it usually does to me. But anyway, so next up though, let's see. Other thing I did want to finish is I want to finish wiring up these relays, which you guys can see and work just fine. So, I'm looking. So the base, the center of the, oh wait, let me finish, I'm going to finish the OD relay. So the center of the OD relay, on the side closest to it, goes to a green wire, which is the entrance of the OD, which is over to a 220k resistor up, which is, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing, it's not the center. Sorry, that's the bottom one. See, this is the part that's always the thing I have to kind of carefully map out in my head, is because, by the way, I did something with the pointer to make it a little bit easier, but, so this connection here connects over to this connection. I already did that one last time. It looks like it's the middle one to me, but it's not. It's actually, this is the first one, this is the middle one, and that's the third one. This is just the switching part right here. So it's this first one, so the second one is the one that's empty, and that is a ground. So you can see there's a black one kind of coming across and over to ground. So that middle one I'm going to connect a black wire and take it off to ground. Alright. And the trickiest part of this, often as you see me do, is trying to get it underneath this at an angle enough to get the ground attached in. There we go. So first order of business is just going to be to try and get that as tightly physically wrapped around that corner as I can, and then I can solder it in. And then I can run that wire over to the ground point. Go. Next, while that's cooling, I need so the opposite side, the top pin looks to me to be connected over here. This top pin connects over to the center of the ratio pot, which is this one here. right here. So I need to create another one of these wires that will fit that distance. So let's measure that out. The center of this radio pot over to here. Right about there. Should be perfect. I'll quickly prep this wire. As you've seen me use before, the end of the wire that I'm dealing with will be fairly short. I cut away the leads on this end because this is the safe end, if you will, but is just going to connect to the... Oh, you know what I need? I might have left that over here. I got to get my little strip wires. Prototyping. I don't see them now. Arg. Oh, there they are. They're over here. So I'm going to snip this guy. So we get a nice clean end. I'm going to snip a small piece of my shrink tubing so that we cover up that part. And I won't point it at my finger. These are just these lessons that you don't ever want to relive again, I tell you. All right. So this will go in right here. But I'll possibly kind of solder it from that direction, and then well, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, so let's think for a minute. If I solder that in now, that would be blocking that hole. So I probably want to figure that one out as well, but I can at least get this one prepped and connected down at this end. So let's go ahead. Get this stripped. That's what she said. Wait, what? Alright, so looks like I've only got about 2 viewers so far. You'll always be here with all your... Yeah, sorry I didn't see the chat until now. My screen went to sleep while I was fighting a battle there. So just trying to get... The one thing that I've found is if I keep cutting with that cutter to keep this to come loose, it ends up cutting more of the wires. And the shield is a little bit of a battle to get off, but if you take it more carefully and kind of... I'm using the pliers to... Ouch! Punch my finger against the chassis to try and get it started, because that way I retain more of the... There it goes. More of the shielding that I want to keep to make a good physical connection, or to make a good ground connection. So one of the things, like last time, if you remember, I was having a problem really getting it to solder to the grounding bus. It actually seems to be a good connection. I went afterwards and I did resolder it. I looked at it, I debated it. You can kind of potentially see that one still here. Oh, no, it's off screen. It's still pretty ugly looking, but it is getting good ground. So it must have, down underneath where I can't see as well, must have gotten a good solid connection. And I will, one of the things that I've learned in the past, though, sometimes those can be deceiving. It'll give you continuity to ground, but I've had to kind of reflow some of those before where it looks like it's good to ground and then it just starts making all kinds of horrible noise and won't work. So, so I'm going to try this guy. I'm going to take some sandpaper and just clean the surface that I'm about to solder to really quickly again, just so you can get a fresh, unoxidized layer. So I'm going to solder to that. And then this will go through there. I'm going to solder that in first. We'll come back over here so you can see what I'm working on over this way. I'm working down here. It may be a little out of focus, but I think it's the extent of my focus too. But, all right, and we need a little more light down there. I need to clean the tip. It's interesting, I've been doing these live streams and I'm hoping more and more people will join in and chat with me, but I do get a decent amount of these live streams after they're no longer live, so I'll still do them this way because they require less editing for me. They're fun for me in a lot of ways, and I'm hoping eventually I'll start getting more of an audience for them. But it's not hard work, it's actually easier. I sit for an hour, work on the amp, and people can kind of come along and watch with me live or watch later. Alright, so that's soldered in the middle. Was that what? And now I'll probably go back and check. No, that was the middle, right? Yeah, the middle of the ratio. Alright, so now I can take this and wrap it around nice and tight. I'm going to put some flux on it. Where did my flux pen go? There it is. I need to actually order some more flux. I'm getting a little low on this, I think. There we go. I'm getting some good liquid in there. All right. There we go. Let's see if we can get this beast to flow. First order of business is going to be to get a good wetting of the tip. We can hear it sizzling. Alright, I'm actually seeing a nice flow of solder across the bus bar. And into the braided wire. So this one is doing much, much better. Still getting a bit of a bead up here. And that may just be excess solder. Still having the same problem of it not wanting to bond to this wire for crap. And I just sanded the surface too. I don't need to add any more solder, that's for sure. I'm just going to try and keep some heat on it a little longer and see what happens. Part of this may be the bus bar is so thick and long that the heat is just being dissipated too fast. And my iron is not able to keep its temperature and keep it where it needs to be to flow well. But I'm going to just try and leave it a little longer here. If I look at my iron, the little red dot is blinking, which means it's still actually sending a decent amount of heat in to try and get it to That actually is flowing a bit on the actual, I can see it connecting. All right, so I think even though there's parts of it that aren't bonding, I got enough heat that has bonded there, I hope. We'll see. We're going to have to leave that for now. So the thing I want to double check here is on this last one, what is the third connection on that side? And that looks to me like that one goes to the master on the input side, which is this guy. Wait a minute. Oh, the master volume. Yeah, this is the master. Wait. Hold on a second. This is the master. I just did this wrong, didn't I? I think I just got these mixed up. So let's look for a minute first. The master is the master volume. And the master, what I was wanting this one to go to is the center of the ratio, right? Yeah, it was the center of the ratio, which is this one. The center of the ratio I have going. All right, so let's try and, I'm going to go back and count through my pots here again. Volume, treble, bass, middle. Level, which the center of the level goes to, which is A, goes to A. All right, that's correct. And then the ratio, the middle, which is this one, goes. Oh, so this one doesn't go here. So this one actually goes to B. B, which is, so this one is supposed to, oh, it's over, let's see, B, let me look. It may just, I may have it right on the right one, but I don't have it on the correct one. Okay, so this one just needs to come over to the middle, it looks like. No, B is on that side. Yeah, that's correct. So this one actually needs to come to the middle one of that one, I think. Okay. So I'm actually was right the other day. This is just the one that's in the wrong spot. It needs to come from this pot to this pot. So, whoops. Well, this might be a problem now. Because the soldered ground is so firm, it does not want to allow me to move it downward. There we go. Now, the tricky part is going to be, can I turn this guy enough? Nope, I'm going to have to desolder it first. Whoops, what fun. Oh, see, I actually had a pretty, and there's a decent amount of solder sticking, but some of it's not too, so that's a bit of a sucky proposition. Alright, so this actually goes here. I'm going to just try and hold that still. So if we look right here at this solder that I have on this line, it actually is making a connection and staying. So it just appears to me like the bubbling is probably excess solder that's just not making a permanent connection in a way that I would be happy with. But going to add a little bit of flux over here. And I've kind of moved the camera a little, probably just moved my hand a little bit. Alright. A little bit more flux on here. This bus bar is not very effective. If you look when I'm coming across and melting some of this, if that's even visible, it looks like it's staying connected and over the surface, so I just don't understand why I keep getting these blobs that do not seem to be actually bonding to the surface at all. And I also don't seem to want to go inside the wire. The wire gets black. So I'd have to come back with these, like I kind of discussed earlier, and put some cleaning stuff on it. And then this last one has a small jumper to ground anyway, so let's just try and see if I get a very small piece of grounding lead, if I can get that to wrap around it worth a crap. So that one is the ratio. Actually, let me tell one of these pair of pliers, wherever they may be. There they are. And try and come from the bottom side. So you can see there, I've got a good winding around that guy for the ground. Oh, look at that. That actually flowed really, really well. I wonder if maybe the thermal mass of the shield is also causing some of the problems. I just don't have a powerful enough iron to get into that somewhat. But that just perfectly soldered. I was like, wow, that was easy. But it was a very thin wire. It didn't require a huge amount of work. But, okay. So before I connect this, in, as we mentioned, into that and block it, the other side I want to look at is the other end. Close, and that one goes to the master volume. So I want to connect one from there all the way down to the input of the master volume, which is this one here. So got to make us another one of these guys. Oops, sorry, spectacle, that wasn't too loud. So that's going to come from there and then all the way down to here about. Oh, looks like I've got a few more people here. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody's getting going? Having fun yet? Please enjoy the chat channel. I've got it there. If people want to kind of chime in on questions or comments, to let me know things that you're interested in, what I should be discussing more about. If there's anything that you see me doing wrong, please let me know. I had a couple of people come on that were some of the guys from the Amp Garage, or at least one of the guys from the Amp Garage, that really was helpful for me, and I appreciated that. The feedback there was to help me kind of think through some of the things that he's done before. And all in all, I also just welcome any open question about, how you could do something like this yourselves. So please do feel free to ask questions, make comments and suggestions, etc. I'm actually getting pretty good at this shrink tubing stuff. As long as I don't put my fingers in the direct line of fire. Ha ha. If you guys missed that, you can go back and watch last week's live stream and watch me burn the crap out of myself. And that one will go in there. And it will come out here. Alright. So, a sneak peek for those of you that have come along this long, I actually found an oscilloscope for dirt at a local place, not working, for 20 bucks. So I thought it would be a fun experiment to not live stream actually, because I think live stream would be bad, because I'll probably fail a lot, but to video me trying to repair that. And if the repairs go well, I'm trying to decide what I would do with that next, but you guys can... I don't need another oscilloscope. I just wanted to have content for my videos. So, what I should do with that one... I'm debating what I should do with that one, but please throw suggestions in there. Alright, so... Whoops. Alright, so just right now, if you're a late joiner, I'm busy wiring up the wiring up a lot of what goes around this overdrive for the switching part of that. Alright. So I'm letting that harden. I will bring this side over. Plop it right in. Oh, of course it's going to be tight now. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I cut this thing. Did I cut this thing a millimeter too short? Got it in. Let's go ahead and solder that. And then I'll put the other one on top of that. I gotta get my angle here. Perfect. And then I will get this one. Similarly. Let's try. I'm going to try a little trick here. I don't get an easy direct connection because this is so thick, but if I were to bend, I'm going to, if you can see that, no, I'm at the wrong angle. I've bent a hook in it so that it can kind of stop itself once it gets inside of the hole as well. There we go. This might be fun. I gotta try and find a way to keep it from wanting to push itself up more until I solder it. Let's clean the tip. I wonder if this tip's starting to get near the end of its days. Alrighty. So, I need to get this guy over near the grounding. And then that means that this relay will be almost done. The only thing I have to do now is run a wire from here all the way down over to the switching side. I'll have to double check which one's where, but this is the other end. This connects to these switches on the back side of the amp, and you can either engage by engaging the switch, or connect into this guy, which sends it off to the foot switch. So either one of those switches will engage the relay. Alright, so I need that there. Let's give myself a little room. Alrighty. Alright, so that relay is done. Now I've got to look through this other relay. This other relay connects. So interestingly enough, this other relay, these top two ones don't get used at all. So I only need, I've got this 22 meg resistor between those two sides. And then one of those connects to the center of the base. And the other connects, let's see. So this is another one where I also have a, you know what, this is going to be connecting into some of the switches as well. But let me just connect anything that doesn't go to the switches. So this goes, so the top size 22 meg, which would be the center one, which is this one, will connect to the base pot, which is just really close to it here. So we'll get us a little short lead, and we'll connect that up. Alright. Of course, now that I'm doing this, I'm realizing my order of operations was a little off, because now I have to fight the battle of, you know what I might do? As I do with the other one, I might temporarily detach this guy so I can get to it easier. Because the bottoms is where I need to be on these to solder these in, and then I can solder my leads in and go from there. So maybe just a second to quickly try to pick it up carefully. See if I can find a way to do that. There we go. So that means that I can now quickly connect this into the middle one. I'm going to just connect some leads that I need for this. we'll solder that guy. Done. Cool. And I've got to solder, let's look, the other side. Connects into the center of the rock jazz switch, so that's going to need some distance. It goes from roughly there to here, and I'm going to just give myself a nice long lead. I can cut it shorter if needed later. I have plenty of length for to get this wired in. So that will be this one. Junk on this thing. There we go. There we go. I'm not sure how visible that is from your side, but I can actually zoom in a little bit on some of this stuff. So let me set some leads now. Oops, wrong ones. Next, I got to do this side over here, which is the middle one is a lead that goes over to the treble side. So we'll give us a little bit of a longer lead. It's, like I said, I'm just going to make excess lead length so I can easily connect these where they belong later. And that's going to be the middle one on this side. And one of the things I will mention, part of the reason I'm coming from the bottom is that I would rather have the shielded part of the wire on the bottom where things could potentially touch, and then have the lead itself connecting on the top. Then, let's look at the other end. The other end also has a lead that goes off to the center jack of the center pot of one of the jazz switch. So give myself another good amount of lead. Just has to make sure it goes from there over to these switches, so plenty of room. Part of what I'm fighting is that I've already soldered in the power and it's a little tight. Pull this out temporarily. Alright, go ahead and solder that guy. And I can get my snips, slip that away. Alright, now I can go ahead and put this guy back in, hopefully. It's going to be a fun battle, but partly because the little nylon bushings are going to want to not go where I want them to go. All right. Okay, one went through. The other one's gonna now battle. Oh, no, it went through. There we go. Cool. Now, one of the things that I will be doing, and I'm probably going to do that offline, also is going through and doing a continuity test to all of these different points to make sure that I made a real physical connection to where it's supposed to be, and that there isn't like a soldered dead joint that's giving me high resistance or anything like that, and though I might need to reflow them or whatever. But alright. Okay, so now I can come back and look at, so I think this was the shorter one because it needed to go to, it's the middle jack of the 22 meg part, and it's yellow and goes to the center of the base, which is this guy. So let's get these guys under here. Needs to go roughly there. The center of the base pot. Does the base pot have anything else coming to it? No. Let's look some of that in. Oh, knocking stuff off. Oh, let me zoom out a little so you guys can see what I'm working on now. Oh, actually you can, luckily. I've got it dialed right in. Perfect. Okay. Looks like my tip needs cleaned. I've got enough to go to this guy, I think. There we go. Put that screwdriver on the floor. Alright. So let's see. What is the next guy on this one? The next guy goes, I'm going to try and wrap up these last 4 wires and get my relays done. So this one is the bottom end. So if you guys look, by the way, a lot of what I'm doing now is just this guy right here. So I'm looking at this end. I just did to the center of the base. So now I want this end, which goes up and connects the center of the one of the switches. So that's going to be about in here. I guess I will leave, like I said, I was going to wait and do those, turn around so I can see, but it's going to connect to the center of one of these switches. The other side, which is this one, connects also to the switch on one side, and the other side connects to the left side of the treble. So the middle switch goes to the left side of the treble, which is this one. Which will be right there. Okay. So I need to cut it about here. Strip that back. And I have to connect something else into that treble spot, so I won't solder it, but I will physically wire it in. Alright, that's connected. what else goes into that, though. Actually, I think the other end of a 22 meg resistor is what goes into that. So what I'll do is get my 22 meg resistor, and like I do a resistor, I will connect it in and solder it in, and then I will create my lead that I need for it as a second part of it. Let's go ahead and solder that in, because we know that's the two things that connect into that junction. Of course, I'm off screen now, aren't I? Look at that. Sorry about that. Let me zoom back out, because what I'm soldering has been over here, and that was a little off screen. I think I was more over this way, but all right. Just snip a few excess leads. Alright, so now my 22 meg, similarly I want to get myself a lead. It goes over to the center of the switch that I mentioned, so I need a decent amount of a lead to come over, just like I did with that other one. So, I get this clean out right here. And as I did before, I'll get the pliers. Pinch the two together, kind of the base, enough so I can wrap this around a couple of times. And we'll solder it, and then we'll shrink wrap it, shrink tube it, whatever I'm trying to say. You get the gist. Alrighty. Got that cool. So, anybody know why I'm doing that? Hey, Charles Peck, welcome back. Live. We're doing it live. Right? As the famed TV newscaster said. F it, we'll do it live. Alright, so where's my shrink tube? I just had some of that a minute ago. I'll just pull it. I'm going to use clear again, so it can make somebody that doesn't notice it's clear think I'm doing a bad job. No, I think I need a fairly long piece. Then I just snip off this end here, so I can get that flat. Perfect. I'm burning my fingers this time. I'm going to keep saying that every time, and people are going to get sick of it. Sorry. It was pretty funny. To me, anyway. And it was my own finger, so. Alright. Alright, so after that. So that means that I did connect the 22 meg. And I think I mentioned to you guys, all these connections that are coming to the switches, because they're at such a downward angle, I'm going to do them offline. I'm going to turn around where I can see them a little bit better, but. So this guy also comes over to those. So that means that I now have my relay, both of my relays wired in at the relay level, just not at the, I should have possibly done that underneath, but that's okay. Alright, so this, that's one that jumped over and connects to the, it was this one right here. I need to connect somebody to that. Alright. So, I am past my hour of typical screen time, but I've gotten a bit more done around the relays. This is definitely a very involved build. You can see all of these cables coming across. Oh, wow. So there's a good sign. Let's go ahead and look. Remember I told you I just wasn't feeling confident that this solder connection is working? We're going to come in and zoom in. Look, I finished soldering that. You see that? I don't know how well focused that is, but look at that. I thought I had it soldered in. I don't. It didn't even connect. This is what I'm trying to understand is, it seems like, honestly, the problem is the shielded cable. Look how it's turned kind of gray and yucky. It was bare copper wire. So I don't know what I need to do different to make that stuff play nicer. But I might have to kind of get, it may even be my flux that I'm using that's causing this problem. Maybe my flux is, see look, it doesn't even want to go in. Maybe I need to get some denatured alcohol on those and clean them up and remove the, so maybe my flux pen, I don't know, does anybody know, does flux pen like this end up getting bad after a while? Oh, look. Can you guys see that? Let's see. Expires 07/30/17. It's almost a year old. That might be why I'm getting this really crappy looking stuff. So I'll have to clean that out with some denatured alcohol. And I'll have to do that on all three of those and clean them out and clean them better. And then I will try and reflow them without the flux. And that means I need to order me some flux that's new and better. So, dun dun. Yeah, sorry, I'm moving to view, hopefully. So, boneheaded move. I did not know that flux can expire, and it can. So, we will zoom out, give you guys the last kind of overview of where we're at with the build. So we've got, what we have left to do is I have to finish wiring up all the potentiometers, and I've got a decent amount of those done. I've got to finish wiring these switches. There's a bright switch, and then there's the Jazz Rock switch and the deep switch. And then I have to wire, to run wires from these two over to this switch backside over here, so that those will work, and that'll be completed there. Then my final steps really are going to be to come to this side and connect everything over here. I have to make sure that my, this build, oh, you know what? Honestly, I just realized this is something that, I have the jacks for this, but I haven't even prepped for this. I'll go back here. There are send and return jacks right here for effect loop that I haven't even gotten incorporated into this yet. So I will need to get two more of those, and it looks like they're both switched. No, one's a switched jack and one is non-switched jack. So I've got those, and I'll hook those in. So I'm going to have to drill a couple holes on the back side of the amp over here for those, but that won't be nightmarishly hard. Well, although this steel has been hard to drill, but okay. So at any rate, any other questions, please let me know. If not, I'm closing her down for this this stream, and I appreciate you guys joining in for the fun. See you around next time. Cheers.